Alright guys, TacticalRab again. So I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, with Shotzzy arguably playing right now as one of the most impactful players, if not the most impactful, in the entire game. There have been some questions after the Zuma 5k tournament as to whether this Dolphin Dive cheese should still be allowed. If there's one player in the league that is most impactful with the movement, it is no doubt Shotzzy as it stands. Temp and Drazah seem to be implying maybe Dolphin Dive has got to get GA'd if we want to stop this guy. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I greatly appreciate it. First of all, wanted to mention for you guys, this weekend is CleanX's return to the racetrack. You guys might remember, probably, what, a month and a little bit ago now when he was at Sebring. That was his first race weekend. He won both races on the weekends. This weekend's they're at Barber, I believe, which is actually the same venue that they're hosting IndyCar this weekend. So I think there's even a little bit of a crossover on the weekend, but here we go. It's basically, what is this? The Porsche Motorsport North America YouTube channel. This is where it's going to be streamed. Everything is already kind of laid out here so we can see the date and the times. This, of course, is my time. But yeah, we're looking for the Porsche Sprint Challenge North American GT3 Cup Race 2, which I'm pretty sure is what Krim is in Race 1, Race 2 on the various days, as we saw previously. This as well, worthy of note. Grime, a new map coming into the game, coming in mid-season. When we saw this a few weeks ago now, we said, you know what? This looks like a potential competitive map, just because it gives us London Docks vibes, and whether it's going to be good or not, I don't know, but it is in the map set soon, at least in the game. And to be fair, pubs in this game ain't too bad. They've added some pretty reasonable maps in, which is unbelievable compared to what we've seen over the last few years. Now, will the spawns work? That's another question. 6-star, we compared a lot to Raid, and for good reason, but it ain't really Raid. The map design obviously isn't the same, and it doesn't play as well as Rated because the spawns aren't as good, and the map design isn't quite as good. But whatever, they've done a respectable job bringing maps in, and I'm convinced that this map has been based on London Docks. If you guys aren't familiar with London Docks, this is honestly one of the better maps that we probably ever had in COD history. This was from World War II. Phenomenal map, super symmetrical, worked for all the game modes. You know, hardpoint on this was great, search on this was great. CTF was a bit crap, to be fair, because you just ran the flag down mid, but it could have been worse. And it is known, looking back on it, as, you know, probably the best map in the game, and certainly one of the best maps that we had during that era. So any map that looks kind of like this may well be in consideration. And as we can see here, I mean, look, we're clearly dockside in London here, right? So, you know, that is one thing. And the map layout, if you guys look at it on the left-hand side, has some similarities to share. It's not the same, but, you know, it's clearly symmetrical. There's clearly a docks. There's clearly some buildings involved. This was, by the way, the map design from the original London Docks, when you had the dock side, which was down here, the top side of the map, and then the middle, when, you know, you had these kind of two facing off buildings. Very symmetrical, excellent map design. And there are definitely some similarities to be drawn with the vibe and with the layout here with this new map that they're calling Grime. So I imagine, given that I think it's relatively clear that 6-star has taken inspiration from Raid, my feeling is that Grime has taken inspiration from London Docks. That seems pretty evident. Question is, will we actually ever play it? It's going to be in the game. The pros, they took their time figuring out what to do with the map set. They arguably could have made more changes to the map pool. I don't mind the map pool as it is. I think one thing I would have loved to have seen is Invasion Control gone and something else in instead. So maybe there's a world in which that happens, but, you know, look, it's going to stay as it is until the major, and then after the major, there is 1 week to make some changes. And look, if Grime plays very well and it's notable that it actually plays well, then maybe the pros could make a change going into Major 4. But that will be the last and final call, and if I had to put money on it, I'd say probably not. I think the pros probably won't make a change. They'll be maybe not satisfied as it is, but, you know, we talk about if they're a bit too lazy to actually execute these changes, and maybe the map won't play that well. The spawns mean a lot in COD, obviously. But even if the map design is good, if the spawn logic isn't great, you see some wacky stuff. And we see that on 6-star, to be fair. Some of these teams at the bottom of the league right now aren't in a particularly good spot. I know there was some question here, actually, from Zinni on what this team would deliver in the CDL. The lowest team in the league right now, of course, are Boston. Are Boston the worst team in the league? That is another question, just because Los Angeles Grillers, they've gone 0-9 in their map count so far online. But, you know, they have been better on land, to be fair. But they are making a change, Gorillas. Assault is gone, Flames is in. That is not yet confirmed as of recording, but that is like a guarantee that's happening as far as I'm concerned. Or at least they certainly have done trials to that effect. But how well would this team do? Scum, and maybe we're talking prime, or we're talking like right now. If these guys actually grinded, could they beat a Boston? Could they beat, you know, a Gorillas? Surge, I almost want to say, fair play to Surge. They seem to have made good progress with those four in the roster. But there are still some pretty bad teams down there. I feel like on LAN, then yeah, to clean 3-0 over the Miami Heretics, more than likely. But I think that like Scump on his own could carry this team a fair way. Like Scump could easily be a top player still in the league if he was actually to compete. So I feel like this team would, you know, probably beat a CDL team. I doubt they'd be, you know, like top 6 or any better than that. I think the roles I'd have some questions on, and, you know, when you put Octane and Ziddy and Scump together, we know the history there, let's say, in terms of World Championship results when they had Crim instead of Havoc, wasn't especially good. This is also the Rookie of the Year ladder we put together here, so Gwyn has taken over the #1 spot, and I think that absolutely this is justified with his performance levels lately. Linz is down to 2nd. I think I would actually argue that maybe Linz should now be down into 3rd, just because Minnesota Rocker have not, well, had the results lately. Sure, well done. They Game 5 Round 11 victory against Boston, but I'm not taking too much credit into that. And on an individual level, sure, Linz has done very well at the start of the season. That has regressed quite considerably, actually, and you don't see Linz with the takeover series that Gwyn has done. Now, if you put Gwyn, Linz together with aBeZy, maybe with Dan Ghosty or something, I don't know, that could be a pretty good team, and I feel like that was even a team in consideration for maybe Thieves before the season began. That, of course, never happened. Geo, though, is number 3. And maybe Geo should be above Linz. I know that I hold Schiff was making tweets effectively to this effect that, you know, Geo, because he came into Vegas and clearly massively improved their team, I think it shows that probably in terms of impact, Geo might well, you know, deserve to be 2nd. At the end of the day, no one's beating Gwyn right now. That may change, but I think Gwyn Rookie of the Year is almost guaranteed based on the way things are going. If Ravens continue this path, the final one here, by the way, is Estriel. We have ReeaL, aBeZy, Purge, 04, Penta, and ErikBooM on the honourable mentions, although I'm not sure some of them are even put on the honourable mentions, to be fair. Snoopy's number 4, which is probably justified, but let's have a talk about Shotzzy and the Dolphin Diving. If there's one movement king in the game, obviously it's Shotzzy. We talk about Snoopy as well, having very good movement. I think HyDra as well as a player whose movement is actually pretty damn underrated. Like, I think he's disgusting. But Shotzzy is obviously the movement king. We all know this to be true. And it's stuff like this that makes that very clear. I mean, like, I've played this clip yesterday, but I've just got to do it again because this is just so good to watch. When he dolphin dives off the top here, flies into the point, jumps out the back door, slams on this guy, actually it's Capsule, and then like the dolphin dive, meanwhile shutting the door to get in there was unreal before his teammate takes him down. So Temp and Drazah, who of course were on the team that played Shotzzy in the finals, we're thinking, like, are we sure this should be fine? Now, I think they're probably joking to some degree, but would you put it past the pros to make a decision like this? We saw it with the Subliners in the Ordnance Gloves. So if you guys don't remember that from the Major 2, New York Celliums were throwing these nades all across the map with the Ordnance Gloves, and they had apparently loads of other nade spots prepared as well. They'd put in the time, they'd put in the work, they'd put in the effort to find those nade spots with the Ordnance Gloves, and maybe it was unfair and it should have been banned, and the pros eventually gentleman's agreemented it when they decided, alright, it's too strong, we're going to ban it. But was that because it actually was ban worthy? I don't personally think so. I made the case at the time, and Octane made the case at the time. I don't think it should have been banned, but Subliners were ahead of the curve. They knew a lot, they'd practiced a lot, and therefore, what is it easier to do if you're the other 11 teams? To say, well, we've got to get our game on, we've got to lock in, practice these nade spots to find a way to counter New York, and accept that New York are going to have a bit of a head start in that sense, or just agree to ban it. Like, it's very easy, isn't it? If you're behind the curve, if somebody else is doing something better than you, just get it out of the game. And this might apply to the Shotzzy case.
Bro, he dolphin dove to the hill. I got dolphin dove.
No, the diving actually low-key good, bro.
Bro, that's want to GA everything in the universe. GA.
I'm down. I ain't gonna go.
I can't use that, bro. At least
bro, GA. Get it. GA.
I'm
we dolphin diving?
Diving's insane too. What the?
Bro, he dove from top yellow into the hill, bro. That's unwatchable.
Alright, so I'm literally flying a point. I mean, deadass too. Watch over me.
Yeah.
Find out the shit.
Oh my god.
What the fuck? I'm no. What? What the fuck?
Oh, dude.
What?
No, man.
What the fuck?
Now, even if you got rid of Dolphin Diving, would Shotzzy still be slamming kids like this? I mean, yeah, let's be real, that is probably true. But does the Dolphin Diving, does any extra, because, you know, he plays on the hybrid thing, and some players have started to do this lately, where they can both slide and Dolphin Dive. Lots of players, especially at the start of the game, ran just one, right? They would just be sliding and no Dolphin Diving was even possible, but Shotzzy prefers to play with a hybrid where he can slide and Dolphin Dive, and clearly it works to his advantage. Some of the stuff that he can do, I mean, we saw this the other day. I still can't believe how this is exactly possible, to be fair. But he's in a 1v1 against Pred, and he dives somehow so far off the top ropes here. Like, there's not many even CDL players that can seemingly do stuff like this. Like, it's so outrageous. At least on a consistent basis, right, and actually doing it in matches as well. So, do you think there's anything to this? Because if I am another CDL team, and I'm discussing with the boys, obviously Temp isn't in the league, but Drazah is, like, if you're Drazah and you could just decide, if you were a developer and you were Drazah, or you were any player, and you could just decide, all right, let me just turn off Dolphin Diving, would you do it or not? Like, FaZe probably would do it, right? Because their closest contenders are OpTic. If they could just turn off Dolphin Diving and not allow it to be possible, then, you know, it probably helps them, right? Because Shotzzy, you would think, becomes marginally less impactful than he presently is. I don't think this is something that they would be able to follow through with, and I think they're probably joking around, but I do wonder whether it kind of sparked an idea. Because let's say Drazah, or whoever, dropped it in the GA group chat, hey, we think Dolphin Diving is too powerful for whatever reason, we want it gone. Some of the other teams might say, you know what, yeah, that's not a bad idea. If we get a 9 of 12 majority, then it's going to be gone. I'm sure OpTic would rail against high heaven if that was to be the case, but it would be interesting to see. Now, OpTic and FaZe, by the way, if they were to match up in the finals of Major 3, it would be the first time that we get back-to-back finals with the same teams all the way back in 2017, which is pretty crazy, actually. So, ConChamps 2020, Major 1 2021, we had back-to-back same organisation grand finalists, but it was 5v5, 4v4, different teams. So it's pretty crazy to think, right, that it's been 7 years since we have had the two identical rosters in back-to-back grand finals. Just shows maybe how competitive at times the league has been, and even if there's been one team kind of dominating, like let's say Cold War FaZe, there would typically always be a different team in the grand finals against them event to event. But going into this upcoming event, I mean, you gotta think that OpTic versus FaZe is the most likely grand finals. Tough to see what other team, you know, obviously Toronto and New York can't get in there, and I think there is a very good chance this event that somebody like a Ravens or a Vegas maybe, or even like a Thieves, makes a very respectable run of the tournament, even potentially to top 4 and beyond, because I think that New York and Ultra are very vulnerable. But OpTic versus FaZe in the finals seems very likely again. This weekend we'll get maybe more evidence of that when the defending world champions play Atlanta FaZe. That's happening this Sunday, April the 28th, when it's going to be FaZe versus New York, and I think, New York 3-2'd them, right, earlier on the season, but I'm not expecting that to necessarily continue. So very much interested to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.
He's left, you're on the body. There's another street, yeah.
Cross on the left end.
One shot down.
Go big.
Boxes,
boxes in.
Back. One shot.
Oh, one shot! I gotta get, tell him! I got time, go boxes. Go boxes. I got boxes, guys. I'm telling you. One on you, Byron. He's got the headlights on. One on you, Dan. Where?
Armor.
Armor truck! Dan! One more! Go! Get to you! Push! Pitching!
You sure you're pushing?
It's in, Dan! Ciao front!